Hey y'all. Welcome back. Giving YouTube a chance to send out some notifications. I got off live this morning and realized I didn't cover the diddler. Quite frankly, hey Kylie, I'm just a little exhausted with the diddler because it's just more and more horrific stuff coming out. But I think it's really important that we cover the latest lawsuit because not only did she reveal her name, she implicated that he admitted to the Tupac Red Rum or whatever. And I don't feel like this is frivolous. Please thumbs up this video. At the end of the day, I feel like this woman was so affected by things that he did to her that she want her to know that she want Diddy to know that it's her. Okay? And this is where you have a star witness. Okay? And so for those of y'all that don't think other charges are coming down, they are going to, I feel like after this last lawsuit, they're going to add Red Rum of Tupac and Biggie at the end of all of this. So please, thumbs up the video. We got so much to get into. Big Meech, word on the curve, is he got released. If you don't know, back in the day, the diddler was in cahoots with BMF. That's where Big Meech comes from. Okay? I believe that he was cleaning some money for them through his businesses. Thumbs up this video. Shit is about to hit the fan. Okay? Also, the Menendez brothers, all right? It looks like they found some new evidence and they are champion for them to be released. So we're going to do a little commentary on that. But please, thumbs up the video, okay? I had to go to TikTok because I'm not reading the whole lawsuit. But let's get into it. And let me just give y'all a trigger warning, okay? There's some horrific details with this lawsuit and the things that happened, okay? So if you're sensitive, this is not the live for you, okay? But I just think it's very important because Tupac is mentioned. You know, Diddy is so diabolical and he's such a narcissist that he started to tell on himself. Even his mom, Janice Combs, is implicated in this, okay? Enabling the monster once again, okay? So let's get into it. I'm gonna dive right in. Please thumbs up the video, share the video out, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. All right, trigger warning. Here we go.
Brings me to the seventh lawsuit. Brand new, literally, it's just a couple hours ago in California. We have told you about this accuser before. She says she was raped by P. Diddy at a private home in the Bay Area in 2018. She says that she doesn't believe the police ever investigated her reports. Multiple agencies, not just one, three. But now we are hearing so much more detail, and actually a level of detail almost unmatched in a lot of complaints that I've read through. I'm actually going to read a lot of the details in just a moment, and I'm going to do it verbatim, and so I need to give you a massive flashing red warning here. What I'm about to say is quite disturbing. There's a lot of uncomfortable language. And if you are triggered or upset by sex assaults and violent assaults, etc., then this is definitely not the show for you tonight. The accuser is named Ashley Parham, and she has agreed to allow her name to be made public. Let's be real clear about that. She is going public with her name. She says that in February of 2018, she met a man named Shane Pierce at a bar, and that Shane FaceTimed Diddy outside on the sidewalk, apparently trying to impress her. But Ashley Parham says that she told both Shane and Diddy on FaceTime that she wasn't impressed. And this is important. She says she believed that Diddy had something to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur and said as much. Allegedly, Diddy warned her that she would pay for saying something like that.
Oh.
So let's just fast forward now to a month later, where she says this guy Shane invited her to come to his apartment. And the lawsuit says, quote, plaintiff and defendant Shane then began to watch a movie, and defendant Shane offered her a glass of water, which he retrieved and brought back to the plaintiff. A few minutes later, Ashley Parham says that P. Diddy showed up with an entourage, including his top aide, Christina Coram, an unnamed woman who is not a defendant in the suit, and 3 unnamed men, one of whom she says was Diddy's driver, and Parham says that that driver waited outside throughout the whole of what I'm about to tell you. Parham says that Diddy was antagonistic from the start, and that he put a knife to her face. And now this is where I start reading directly from the complaint. Defendant Shane then partially undressed plaintiff, and then defendant Diddy removed the remainder of plaintiff's clothing, removing the knife from her face, and then retrieved a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack. Defendant Diddy then squirted a bottle of liquid on plaintiff, which placed her in fear that she was being squirted with a chemical substance like acid. Plaintiff soon realized the substance was an oil/lubricant. Plaintiff was squirted with this liquid substance all over the entirety of her naked body. Defendant KK was then told by defendant Diddy to insert what looked like a syringe from sterile packaging into plaintiff's vagina.
What?
Defendant KK did as told, and then told defendant Diddy that she was unable to use the IUD because it had prematurely been released from its packaging, and an IUD is a birth control device. Defendant Diddy, upset by this, took the so-called syringe from defendant KK and tried inserting it into plaintiff's vagina instead. Defendant KK and Diddy began to argue as defendant KK continued to advise defendant Diddy that since the IUD...
Yes, Christina Coram, his right-hand woman, his Ghislaine Maxwell, she going down. She going down. Okay? They going down. So for all of you who think the dealer is getting out, I bet the feds is on this. I bet the feds is like, we need you to be a witness, this and that. Oh, and I also have an update on Jonathan Odie. So shout out to BJ Investigation. She attended the court case. That's weird too. Something ain't clean in the water. Thumbs up this video. Share it out. Let's continue. This is coming from News Nation. Trigger warning. These are horrific claims. And I don't think she lying. I don't think she lying. And I love the fact that she mentioned, because she went to the police. She made a report. And she said they did not investigate. Why? This is out in Cali. Why? Because they're in the diddler's pockets. They have been for years. And I think they need to be prosecuted too.
It had been prematurely released from its packaging, there was no way they could insert it into plaintiff's vagina effectively. After some time, defendant Diddy heeded the advice of defendant KK and removed the syringe from plaintiff's vagina and handed it to defendant KK. Defendants KK and Jane Doe then exited defendant Shane's residence, leaving the plaintiff alone with defendants Diddy, Shane, and Doe's number 1 and 2. Defendant Diddy then picked up a television remote that was near to plaintiff and violently inserted it into plaintiff's vagina. Defendant Diddy, while violently raping plaintiff with a television remote, told plaintiff that her life was in his hands and that if he wanted, he could, quote, take her and she would never be seen again.
Take that, take that, take that. This man is a monster. I'm sorry. He's a monster. He's a psychopath. All because she rejected him and wasn't impressed with his celebrity, and she challenged him. This is her punishment. A remote shoved up your... Who to get? Child. And let's not forget, another case confirming that baby oil is not baby oil. Thumbs up this video.
Plaintiff began hysterically crying from the threats by Diddy, along with the pain of being violently, vaginally raped by defendant Diddy with the television remote, as well as the lingering pain from the ordeal with the IUD syringe insertion. Defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to turn plaintiff on her stomach, seemingly tired of hearing plaintiff's blood-curdling cries. Defendant Shane then grabbed plaintiff by her abdomen and hips and turned plaintiff on her stomach. Defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries, and instructed defendant Shane to anally rape plaintiff. Defendant Shane did as he was told by defendant Diddy and began to anally rape plaintiff. Defendant Diddy then violently raped plaintiff anally after defendant Shane. Defendant Doe number 2 then joined defendants Diddy and Shane, taking a turn anally raping plaintiff. Immediately after defendant number 2 raped plaintiff, he exited defendant Shane's residence. Defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Doe number 1 to also rape plaintiff. Instead of immediately raping plaintiff, defendant Doe number 1 doused plaintiff with more oil/lubricant and then jumped on top of plaintiff's naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of plaintiff due to his enormous size. Defendant Doe number 1 then caught himself from sliding over plaintiff's oiled body and off the bed, and then began raping plaintiff vaginally. While defendant number 1 was raping plaintiff, defendant Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began masturbating while recording plaintiff's rape by defendant Doe number 1. Another party's phone fell on the bed near plaintiff. Plaintiff then attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil/lubricant that had been doused all over her person by defendants Diddy and Doe number 1. Defendant Diddy began laughing at plaintiff's attempt to grab the phone. Throughout this violent gangbang-style rape, defendant Diddy made constant belittling remarks to plaintiff, including that he, quote, owned her now. Plaintiff's body was becoming more and more limp over the course of the violent rape until eventually she had no control over her body, nor could she move her body. When defendant Doe number 1 finished raping plaintiff, defendant KK entered the room to examine the condition of plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily functions. Defendant KK examined plaintiff to see if she needed assistance and was about to give plaintiff an IV fluid. Plaintiff cannot be certain if she did or did not receive such intravenous intervention. Defendant KK then opened a different bag, different than the one that Diddy removed the oil from, where plaintiffs observed several medicine bottles, IV fluid bags, and other unidentifiable powder-like drugs. Defendant KK then removed a pill from one of the medicine bottles and gave it to defendant Diddy. Defendant Diddy then inserted the pill into plaintiff's mouth and down her throat, to where plaintiff had no choice but to ingest the unknown pill. Defendants Diddy, Shane, KK, and Doe number 1 then exited the residence to the backyard, where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes. Plaintiff remained in an almost lifeless state in defendant Shane's bedroom until she finally regained her bodily functions. Plaintiff then began looking for her clothes and her purse that contained her car keys and cell phone, but could not discover them in the room or anywhere in the apartment. Plaintiff was only able to find a t-shirt on the floor, which she put on to cover her naked body. Plaintiff also observed a black condom wrapper on the floor of the bedroom, which she assumed was used by one of the defendants, most likely defendant Diddy, during the rape. Plaintiff then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and headed to the backyard where defendants were smoking, as that was the only way to exit the premises onto the street. Plaintiff concealed the knife on her left side. This me to the 7th lawsuit.
Hold on, let me get part 2.
And Shane taking a turn anally raping plaintiff. Immediately after defendant...
Hold on.
Weeks later, in April of 2018,
hold on. Let me see if it's a part two. It's like they skipped the part two. But ultimately, she took that knife and she slashed. Here it is.
Shane invited her to come to his apartment. And the lawsuit says, quote, plaintiff and defendant Shane then began to watch a movie.
Now we heard that. She ultimately cut Diddy. So if he has that scar, girl. Please thumbs up the video. This man is a monster. They didn't give a part two. All right, so let's see. Let's continue. I'll do what I can. He's exactly where he deserves to be.
Weeks later, in April of 2018, the plaintiff, still reeling in pain from the horrific assault, went to the hospital as her injuries had not subsided from the assault. Complaint continues. The hospital conducted several tests on plaintiff, including a rape kit, ultrasound, and x-rays. Additionally, plaintiff was given IV fluids to stabilize her vitals, as she was in a severe weakened state from being unable to eat and losing a substantial amount of weight since the rape occurred. While at the hospital, plaintiff told members of her treatment team about her horrific assault, and then they contacted the Walnut Creek police. Walnut Creek police showed up to plaintiff's hospital room and took a statement, this is on March 23rd, regarding her assault. Plaintiff had already told the Contra Costa sheriff about her rape, and that it was defendant Diddy who orchestrated it on March 23rd, 2018, which was ignored. Plaintiff declined to refer to defendant Diddy again to the Walnut Creek police because she believed she'd be ignored by the Walnut Creek police, just as she was by the Contra Costa sheriff, and or would further be harmed by defendant Diddy if he discovered she named him to the police. Plaintiff only told Walnut Creek police about the assault from defendants Shane and doe number 2. And I should stop here as well because it's unclear in the complaint why Ashley Parham didn't mention the assault from defendant doe number 1 as well. That's the man who allegedly said he was the undercover cop, but who had been instructed by Diddy to anally rape her, and according to the complaint, did so. Plaintiff also filed a report to the Orinda Police Department on April 17, 2018, but again was too afraid to name defendant Diddy as one of her assailants. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Ultimately, how she got away is she slashed Diddy. So if he still has that mark, that's evidence. That's evidence. All because she challenged him and told him, I believe you deleted Tupac. And also during this altercation, it said that he admitted it. It's going down, Knotty Crew. It's going down. This is the bombshell the feds needed. Forget about them 120 cases. This is all they need. I mean, excuse me, and I don't mean that to say like the victims do matter, but they need to lock his behind up. They need to lock his mother up too. Because the mother called during this whole interaction talking about don't hurt my son. Look at what your son is doing to all these people. I mean, the amount of lives that he has robbed people of, he deserves life in prison. And when I heard this, it brought me to tears. Tears. Let me see. So here it is. This is the full. Is it? No. So the lawsuit, and shout out to the New York Post, the lawsuit claims the rapper will, with help of several unknown accomplices, use TV remotes to grape the accuser, Ashley Perham. And look, she's saying her name. Happy feelings. Yeah. Among the several defendants named in the lawsuit is Christina Coram, alleged manipulator in chief. Even Little Rod mentioned her, who allegedly called off the rapper's knife advancement, saying the Glasgow smile would be a turnoff to potential clients they could sell Param to. The suit alleges. So she down with the whole trafficking. She is the Ghislaine Maxwell. They better lock her ass up. So basically, she told Combs not to cut the victim in the face because she wouldn't be marketable in the trafficking industry. Thumbs up this video. That's some diabolical shit. All right, Coram is accused of assisting Combs' predatory behavior by setting up Parham to be S.A.'d and raped by defendant Diddy, as well as assisting in covering up the crime thereafter. Combs allegedly proceeded to squirt a bottle of oil lubricant all over Parham's body as she had her clothes removed by the rapper and the man she met at the bar, the court papers state. He then allegedly began violently raping Parham with the television remote. All right, we know all it is. So then she alleges she was then raped by 3 of the 4 men inside the apartment before Diddy left and instructed the 4th man to do the same, but not before John Doe 1 used Parham's body like a slip and slide. This is crazy. Coram returned to an immobile Parham and forced her to swallow an unknown pill, according to the suit. After the alleged assault, Parham was treated at the hospital and had a grape kit performed. Yo, all these officers that ignored her claims and stuff, they all need to be in jail with him. So she also claimed elsewhere in the suit that Combs had tried to offer her money to stay quiet and not report the alleged raping. So she is suing Combs, Coram, and several other defendants, seeking $50 million in damages in a jury trial. She like, nah, we going straight to the jury, and I think she should get $100 million, okay? This is some sick shit. This is some sick shit. He deserves to be locked the fuck up. He deserves to be locked up. The nerve of you to try to enforce your will on people. But I wanted y'all to hear the other details. So I'm going to just go to, shout out to Tough News TV, because he got a couple of TikTokers up there that kind of broke this down. Here we go. Please, thumbs up the video. Share this out. The diddler needs to be dealt with. Here we go.
This is brutal. Back in February of 2018, a woman by the name of Ashley Parham went to a bar where she met a man by the name of Shane Pierce. Now, in conversation, Shane tells her that he's friends with Sean Diddy Combs and gets on the phone to make a FaceTime call to him where Diddy answers. Ashley's not impressed by this and ends up saying something on the phone to Diddy, basically accusing him of Tupac Shakur's murder. This made Diddy unhappy, and he told her that she would pay for this. Fast forward a month, and she gets a call from Shane saying that he's too weak to open his cancer medications, and could she please come over to help? So she does. When she gets there, Shane's there along with Diddy. Diddy then held it to her face, threatening to cut her cheeks into what's called a Glasgow smile. He claims that she was saved by this from Diddy's longtime assistant, Christina Koram, who basically said that you could sell her for S, so don't put her up. Christina even told her that we could ship you overseas, never to be seen again. From there, Diddy ripped off her clothes, slathered her in a lubricant or oil, grabbed a remote, and proceeded to R her with it. While doing so, he told Ashley that her life was in his hands and that he could make her disappear if he wanted to. 4 men took turns with her, including Diddy. When they were done, she tried to escape, but Diddy met her in the doorway. Diddy told her that he was surprised she was up because he had given her enough substances to take down a horse. He then offered her money to say that everything was consensual. She refused and said she was going to report it to the police. He said nobody would believe you, and I will take out your family. He claims that a friend then showed her a live stream of what appeared to be the front of her sister's house. Diddy then proceeded to call his mom, basically to talk to Ashley, to try to convince her to not say anything. Now, she then went to the hospital to have an R kit done, and police came up, and she told the police that she was violently gang-R'd, but was too scared to give them Diddy's actual name. But she did make a police report and claims that no police ever followed back up or opened up any type of an investigation as to what happened. In the lawsuit that Ashley filed, she is suing for SA and battery, abuse, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and demanding a trial by jury. She is also named Diddy's assistant, Christina Koram, in that lawsuit, accusing her of assisting Combs' predatory S behavior by setting her up to be SA'd and R'd by Diddy, as well as assisting in covering up the crime thereafter. She also claims to have been able to grab a at one point and sliced Diddy's abdomen, which I would imagine is something pretty easy to prove. Now, this woman seems to have a lot of receipts to back up her claims and is wanting a trial by jury, so time will tell what happens with this. But at this point, every single one of these that comes out seems to be worse than the last.
Yes.
And by the way, as always, make sure to hit that follow button because we have a lot more coming out of this.
So there's a new lawsuit about Diddy allegedly a woman, but it involves conversations about Tupac and Diddy's mama. And yes, I'm still under the weather. So a woman by the name of Ashley Parham is filing a lawsuit against Diddy, alleging that he hit her with a remote, G-banged her, and then some. And this was after she allegedly dissed him on a FaceTime call. So according to the lawsuit, in February of 2018, Ashley met with one of Diddy's friends. Diddy's friend called him on FaceTime, and Ashley said she wasn't impressed by him. And then Ashley told Diddy, allegedly, that she thought he played a part in Pac's unaliving. Yeah, that pissed him off. So I guess after that conversation, Diddy's friend invited Ashley over to his home in Orinda, California, where Diddy was waiting. According to the lawsuit, Diddy told her, "Oh, you thought you was never going to see me again?" and put a to her face. Said he wanted to give her a glass glow smile. Diddy's top consultant, Christina, was there too, saying don't mess up her face because we may need to use her to traffic. According to Ashley, Diddy removed her clothing and started pouring a bottle of liquid all over her body. And then Diddy and Christina tried to put an IUD, quote unquote, up Ashley's body. But when that didn't work, they went to a remote control. Diddy allegedly Ashley with the remote control. Not only that, 3 other men were instructed to her as well. And you know what? Diddy allegedly told Ashley that her life was in his hands and he could take it whenever he wanted to. After Diddy and his friends partaked in, Ashley went outside, to smoke one and left Ashley in the house to regain consciousness. Once she regained consciousness, she grabbed in an oversized shirt and tried to run for the door. She had to get past Diddy. Diddy said he was surprised that she could walk or was conscious because he had pumped her with enough you-know-what to take out a horse. Ketamine. Diddy also said, "Before you leave, I just want you to know this is consensual." Ashley said, "No. I'm calling the cops." Well, Diddy allegedly had one of his friends show Ashley a live stream of her sister's home and told her no one would believe her. On top of that, Ashley alleges that Diddy called his mama Joyce to talk to her. And she told Ashley, "Don't harm my son." Are you kidding me? But that ain't it, y'all. And I quote, Diddy told her he had gotten away with bigger crimes and referred to Tupac. And that pissed somebody off in that house. And that person drew a you-know-what on Diddy and started pow-powing up the place. Diddy took off and Ashley chased him with allegedly. And caught up to him and was about to, take him out when Diddy started pleading not to do it. But in a moment of clarity, she took off out the door. Diddy chased her and then sliced her or grazed her with at her abdomen. I said that right. And the part about this is Ashley Parham says she called the police. She claims the sheriff from Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department responded, and she told them what happened, but she don't think they ever investigated her claims. She also reported to Walnut Creek Police and Orinda Police Department, but no one looked into it. Now, Ashley Parham is not being represented by Tony Busby, so this is a whole nother situation. So this will go into Surviving Diddy, not Tony Busby. I have tonsillitis, you guys. I'm out. Bye.
All right. There you have it. Okay. So she went to the police. She reported it and things like that. There's a grape tick. I think there's evidence and things like that. And I think she's going to be a key witness in this case, in the criminal trial, to connect him to Tupac. She said that all wrong. She said that all wrong. All right. So I just wanted to let you guys know, like, Diddy. All roads lead back to the diddler. And I don't know for the life of me why we waiting to May for this trial. Okay? Like, let's go. All right? You thought Diddy got it? Word on the curve is some houses in Virginia going on there, but that's a story for another day. I'm just not even going to speak on that or whatever. But in the wake of all this, because Busby started dropping all his Jane Doe and John Doe lawsuits. Can you believe that his lawyers are requesting that all these Jane Does be revealed? Yeah, that they be revealed. He tried this with another one of the lawsuits. But Ashley Parham, salute to her for having the courage to come forward and actually to reveal her name. Because I'm sure she lived her life in fear after something horrific like this came out. And if I were Diddy lawyers, I wouldn't even respond at this point. Like, it's just no point. It's just no point. That old adage, what's done in the dark will come to light. And his ego and his narcissism got him caught up because he started running his mouth openly. He did the same thing with Little Rod. He started bragging about his crimes. This is crazy. Classic serial iller move, if you ask me. You know how they like to save trophies and things like that? That's why he liked to record. I bet you his sick behind like to watch it back. He's a voyeur. He's a voyeur. This one hit different. This one hit different. All right. So shout out to the Jasmine brand. Update: Diddy denies latest rounds of SA lawsuits. His lawyers say they're for publicity and the truth will prevail. Everybody not lying. He probably don't. It's so many, right? And he be all rugged up and drunk all the time, so he probably don't remember none of them. That's just sickening. It's just sickening. Hold on, y'all.
You have a nail clipper?
Nanny has one. Sorry, that's my daughter. All right, and on the tail end, and then news breaks. Shout out to it's on site. Shout out to Neighborhood Talks. According to reports from Jasmine Brand, Big Meech has been released from prison, honey. Okay. So then Neighborhood Talks took it further. If for those of you who don't know, Diddy had dealings with BMF back in the day. And that's when he set up allegedly his head of security and so-called best friend and Justin's alleged father, Wolf, to be deleted. Okay, because he has a history of setting people up. He loves setting people up. The patterns of behavior are real, okay? So fans celebrate Big Meech alleged early prison release after records show he's no longer in BOP custody. So they posted, "Welcome home, Big Meech." And so they went on the website of the prison, and it currently says that he is not in the custody of BOP. I wonder if he got Meech caught up. Seriously. Wonder how 50 Cent feels about that, because Big Meech's brother, he wasn't happy about 50 Cent's portrayal of BMF Terry, right? He wasn't happy about that. And even Terry's, I don't know if she's still his girlfriend or not. But she didn't even like the way 50 Cent portrayed, because she felt like 50 Cent portrayed her as a pedo. Because he claimed that Terry was in like high school while he was dealing with that grown woman. So I'm interested to see if 50 Cent, how he feels about this. Now, Meech hasn't really said anything or whatever, because 50 Cent put Little Meech on, right? To play his father in the BMF series. So I don't know what Terry's gripe is, or I don't know. I don't know why he couldn't just reach out to 50 and work things out. But 50 got the green light to tell the story from somewhere. And then I'm like, 50 is diabolical. Like, because did he do that BMF series to poke at the diddler? I'm just saying, you know he always trolling, child. You know he always trolling. 50 Cent is a diabolical genius, too. Oh, here it is. Diddy's legal team demands accuser identities in ex-trafficking case. Yeah, right. Will that really make a difference? Will that really, really make a difference at this point? Like, just shut up. Shut up. It's about to go down. And I'm waiting for the Southern District of New York to let us know what the rest of the charges are. And that's maybe why they set the trial date for May. But this last one just hit different, child. And speaking of Tupac, Spinderella was on Drink Champs, and she said Tupac was in What a Man video. I ain't know that, but they would not allow his face to be shown. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that?
Turned, his body was turned. They wouldn't show his face. It was some political shit.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
this is after he came home from jail.
Yeah, he had an issue with it because he wasn't shown in the video, the What a Man video.
He was mad that he wasn't shown.
Right, but it had something to do. It was, I don't know.
You
I'm
do
not
know.
sure.
You do know.
I'm not sure. I mean, but I can't say because it's like
You're not sure?
Fun fact for today: who would have knew? Well, what's the point of having Tupac in the video if you're not going to show his face? That's some hater shit. All right. So shout out to CBS this morning. We're going to get... He was in prison when it was filmed. So Spinner. Oh, you think Tupac and Tretch was beefing? Ooh. Could be. So, you guys, let's get into the Menendez brothers. Folks be lying for no reason. All right. We all know this story, right? You know, they brutally took out their parents, you know, and then in the trial, it came out, because it was actually two trials, you know, but in the first trial, it came out that the father was yeah, violating them. That's for YouTube, okay? And then in the second trial, the judge excluded all that evidence or whatever. And then on Peacock, series came out about a singing group, a Spanish singing pop group, because the Menendez father, he was in the music industry. Surprise. Like, but the group came out with a documentary, and they said that the Menendez brother father did the same thing to them too, and they was kind of like passed around through the pedos in the job or whatever. And then also Netflix released, yeah, released a series called Monster, which I barely got through it, child. It was so graphic or whatever. And so in the wake of all of this, they're doing all of this because it looks like their case is going to get a new look. All right, so the Menendez murder case is getting a fresh look. Lau and Eric have spent more than 30 years behind bars for the death of their parents, Jose and Kitty. Yes, it was the group Ricky Martin was in. Right. The main question surrounding the case has long been, why did they delete their parents, right? So Jose and Kitty were both deleted at their Beverly Hills home in August of 1989. Their son later admitted to doing it, okay? So it was...
Dad had been molesting me.
Okay.
He raped me.
Did you ask him not to?
Yes. My dad had been molesting me.
Okay.
He raped.
So while prosecutors claim the Menendez brothers unalived their parents for money, both brothers argued self-defense. After their first trial ended in a mistrial, the brothers were later convicted of first-degree red rum, okay? Both were sentenced to life in prison on July 2nd of 1996. And then on October 3rd of 2024, the Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gaskin announced he is reviewing new evidence after the brothers filed a petition to get out of prison. All right.
Who is defending the brothers, Cliff Gardner, says there is now new evidence that proves they were telling the truth.
We now have evidence that makes absolutely clear that those boys were molested. And if those boys were molested, it would have been manslaughter, and they would be out.
Appellate attorney who is defending the brothers.
So he's arguing that instead of first degree, it would have been manslaughter, but they didn't have a proof. So the first piece of new evidence is a letter that attorney Cliff Gardner says was written by Eric to his cousin Andy Cannon months before the killings. Here's the letter. Let me see if I can read it. It says, "Hello, Andy. How are you doing? I hope better than I am. It's been a long time since we've been in touch. Too long. I wish we could have seen each other during Thanksgiving. We almost did. We were all set to go, and then my parents decided not to at the last minute. Mom said the flights were too expensive. She said we could... Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to read their writing. She said we could, I guess, go during Christmas. But now they decided that in playing the Fresh Bowl, and that is not worth it just to play out for a few days. I was all excited to see you and some high school buddies, but I have to want a little, I guess, child. Oh, it's more. Okay, so in the letter, they highlighted it. Look at the handwriting. It's a lot. I can't see it all. But they highlighted it. It says, I've been trying to avoid that. It's still happening, Andy, but it's worse for me now. Every night I stay up thinking he might come in. Gardner also says a man has recently come forward accusing Jose Menendez of molesting him. And it's from the Menounos brothers, that group, okay? Jose Menendez was a former top executive at RCA.
He's a former member. His name is Roy Rossello, and he's a former member of the boy band Menudo. What did you think when you heard about these new claims and evidence?
I mean, for me, I just was happy. Just a burden to be telling what happened to and just have so much doubt in the public air.
His name is Roy Rossello, and he's a former member of the boy band Menudo. What did you think when you heard?
So, in a press conference, District Attorney George Gaskin said that there could be potential for resentencing or possibly even a new trial. All right. So, it looks like they have a good chance of getting released. And I want to know how my Naughty Crew feels about that. Leave it in the comments. But let's hear what I love this commentator. Let's hear what she has to say.
Conference in LA today for the Menendez brothers, so I'm definitely going to be attending. A bunch of Menendez family members are going to be speaking, as well as Rosie O'Donnell. George Gascon, the LA district attorney, actually posted a handwritten letter from Eric to his cousin Andy, which alluded to the abuse by his father, and that's apparently one of the two pieces of evidence that's being looked at to decide whether this case needs to be reheard or resentenced. The conference starts at 1, and this is just a list of some of the family members that will be attending. Obviously, their attorney, Mark Garagos, will be there as well. And this is the handwritten letter that was screenshot and posted. It looks like it's been removed. It's a little hard to read, but you can pause to read. The cousin who received that letter had testified in the original trial, but died in 2003, and then his mom found the letter 9 years ago. The second piece of evidence that's reportedly being reviewed to relook at this case is a sworn statement from Roy Rossello, who was a member of the band Menudo, who says he was also abused by Jose Menendez. Obviously, supporters of the Menendez brothers are hoping to hear today about a possible release. I don't know if we will hear that news today. There is still a hearing set for November 29th. But like I said, I will be at today's press conference and will be reporting live. So make sure you are following for updates.
Let me see if she has any updates. No updates yet, but I'll get them for you and bring them. But it looks like
conference in LA today.
They could be getting out. They could be getting out. I mean, it's sad that they felt no way out of this situation. The only way out was to take their parents out. I would have liked Jose to be brought to justice. Oh, Jim Jones. We Set the Trends featuring Amigos just hit gold. Congratulations, Jimmy. It's a lot. It's a lot, but let me know how y'all feel about them getting released. Only thing is I feel some sort of way, especially with the whole Gypsy Rose situation, about people glorifying these heinous crimes. Yeah, a Federal Bureau of Prison spokesperson tells me Demetrius Big Meech Flannery was transferred yesterday from FCI Coleman Low to community confinement. home confinement and halfway house. So he's in a halfway house. So he's projected to be released January 27th of this upcoming year. No, 2026. All right, so he's still kind of in custody. He's in a halfway house. Child, the man convicted of deleting Michael Jordan's father could be released from prison after getting support from trial judge. Oh, child. Naughty crew. Only thing this telling me is we got to be careful because the prisons are overcrowded and they releasing all these folks. Child. Mm, mm, mm. So y'all let me know what y'all think about Naomi Campbell is such a hater. Y'all let me know. I'm sorry, y'all. See how I be scrolling the gram? I be having to like block myself. Susan Smith is stated to be released in 2025. The wayward lady who was messing with her coworker and eliminated her 2 babies and the late. What? Wait. Feminist says, I no longer believe they were touched. I believe the passive, weak looking one was actually the mastermind and played on his brother's love for him and would have turned on him, but he was too faithful. Wow. Yes. Wow. All right. I just wanted to bring y'all these updates really quick because this morning I didn't have enough time. Oh, Megan Thee Stallion's coming up with a new documentary. I didn't have enough time to cover the Diddy stuff, but it's just gonna be more and more cases coming out. And to be quite honest, Naughty Crew, like I'm not gonna cover every single civil case with the Busby because it's all Jane Doe's, and I believe it's all gonna be the same pattern. The little part where my aunt lives near it. Sad she did that. And the guy didn't want her after the fact. Right, right. She took out her kids for that. All right. So Megan coming out with a documentary, Megan Thee Stallion. And I think what's going to happen in the Menendez case, because what they're looking at is saying that instead of it being a red rum charge, it should have been manslaughter or whatever. But it looks like they're proving that they were violated by their father. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I mean, I said it the other day. Like, it's one thing when you violated by a stranger. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing or whatever. But when it's your own parent doing it to you, it breaks you in a whole nother dimension. It's just sad. It's just sad. So, they might get a second chance at life, and I just hope they do the right thing with it. But the thing is they're gonna gain so much fame if they're released, just like Gypsy Rose did. And people are starting to turn on her too. People are starting to turn on Gypsy Rose too. Because they're starting to see through all the lies and stuff like that. And that she's just as diabolical as her mom. So let's leave it in the comments. I appreciate y'all joining me for the second time today. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Share this out. Get the word out. Like, because this latest Diddy accuser, I think this is going to put the nail in the coffin. Absolutely. They said she at risk of going back to prison because she's supposed to be living with her father, and they saying that she been sneaking to be with her baby daddy. But I think if she's been quiet, I think it's a good thing, because I don't think it's cool that she's gaining profit off of what she did to her mother. Thank you so much, MBMB. I don't think it's cool that she's profiting off of it and that they all get the scam and benefit off of it. What she did was not cool. And the only person I feel in the media that held her truly accountable, believe it or not, was Dr. Phil. He told her straight up, like, you could have just left. You didn't have to take your mother out. She knew her age. She knew she was grown. So, and I know a lot of people not a big fan of Dr. Phil, but I remember watching him interview her, and he really held her accountable. And she was like choked up because she couldn't do that baby voice and lie to him. He was like, nah, chick, I see through that. So I love you all. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Until next time, Knotty Crew, I'm out. One. Ooh, the crime scene. Yes, I did see the crime scene pictures. It's horrific. Horrific. And her mom's family thinks she played more of a role than she is letting on. So I love you all. Have a good evening. I'm going to get me some dinner later.